Etana, the once proud king of Kish, paced the desolate throne room, his shadow a grotesque caricature stretching across the cold stone floor. The silence was a living entity, pressing down on him, heavy with the weight of his failing lineage. Years etched like cruel reminders on his weathered face, chronicled his mounting despair. He was a king without an heir, a magnificent tree withering on the vine. One oppressive night, a searing wind howled through Kish, carrying the scent of dust and despair. Etana flung himself before the shimmering idol of Shamash, the sun god, his voice racking with a primal yearning. "Great Shamash," he roared, his voice hoarse with unshed tears, "grant me an heir, or watch my reign crumble into dust." His desperate plea echoed in the cavernous chamber, swallowed by the unyielding stone. Dawn arrived, painting the eastern sky with streaks of blood red, a cruel mockery of his plight. Sleep, a fickle visitor, finally graced him with its presence, but not before a single, ethereal ray of golden light pierced the darkness behind his closed eyelids. He awoke with a gasp, the image of a magnificent eagle, its feathers shimmering with an otherworldly sheen, etched in his mind. A voice, warm and resonant like the desert wind at dusk, filled his ears. "Seek the one trapped in the belly of despair." "Etana," it boomed, "for in his freedom lies yours." The king sat bolt upright, a single bead of sweat rolling down his temple. It was Shamash, his plea answered in a cryptic riddle. Days bled into weeks as Etana, his hope flickering like a dying ember, scoured his kingdom for the fabled prisoner. He braved treacherous mountain passes that scraped the underbelly of the sky, their slopes littered with the bleached bones of the foolhardy. He ventured into scorching deserts where the sun, a merciless tyrant, held absolute dominion, its heat shimmering like a mirage in the distance. Finally, guided by an unseen hand that stirred the desert sands in his path, he stumbled upon a gaping chasm, its depths shrouded in an unnatural shadow. A guttural screech echoed from within, a sound that sent shivers down Etana's spine. He peered into the abyss, his breath catching in his throat. At the bottom, a magnificent eagle, its white head crowned with a halo of golden feathers, lay broken. Its once proud wings, once instruments of flight that could pierce the heavens, were now clipped and bloodied, a pitiful testament to its fallen state. Yet, even in its misery, a flicker of defiance, a spark of untamed spirit, shone in its golden eyes. Etana, remembering the dream, understood. This magnificent creature, trapped in the belly of despair, was the key to his salvation. But could he trust a predator with a broken spirit? A creature that tasted the bitterness of betrayal? Hesitation gnawed at him, a viper coiled around his resolve. The memory of a desolate throne room and a dying liege spurred him on. He began the arduous task of filling the pit, each shovelful laced with a sliver of his own hope and a desperate plea to the gods. As the pit narrowed, the eagle strained upwards, its amber eyes fixed on Etana. "Who dares disturb my eternal torment?" its voice rasped, a broken echo of its former grandeur. Etana, his voice steady despite the tremor in his hands, explained the dream, the promise of freedom in exchange for knowledge. A tense silence followed, filled only by the labored breathing of the king and the mournful cry of the desert wind. Finally, a low growl rumbled from the depths. "Very well," the eagle rasped, its voice laced with a chilling indifference. "Help me to the sky and I shall guide you to a plant that grants the very essence you desire, a plant that blooms only in the celestial gardens." Relief washed over Etana like a cool desert breeze. He extended a hand, and with surprising strength, the eagle grasped it. With a final heave, the king pulled the magnificent bird from its prison. The eagle, its wings stiff and useless, glared at Etana with a mix of gratitude and lingering suspicion. Etana, understanding the distrust, pointed towards the sky. "Take me there," he commanded, his voice firm with newfound purpose. The eagle, with a powerful beat of its remaining wing, propelled them skyward. Higher and higher they climbed, the once familiar desert shrinking beneath them, transforming into a tapestry of swirling sands and jagged peaks. Soon, the world became a tapestry of swirling clouds, the sun a blinding beacon above. Etana, exhilarated by the ascent, the desert wind whipping through his hair, clung to the eagle's back, his heart swelling with anticipation. But as they climbed past the veil of clouds, a chilling realization dawned on him. The air grew thin, stealing the breath from his lungs. The vast expanse of the sky, once a source of wonder, morphed into a suffocating void. The earth, once a constant presence, a comforting anchor, was but a distant memory, a blue marble suspended in the infinite blackness. Panic, cold and clammy, gripped Etana. He squeezed his eyes shut, the image of his barren throne room a stark reminder of his desperation. "Turn back," he screamed, his voice hoarse with terror, echoing through the deafening silence. "We have climbed too high," but the eagle, its gaze fixed on a distant horizon, remained silent. Its powerful wings beat with an unwavering rhythm, propelling them ever higher. Terror gnawed at Etana's insides. Was this the freedom the eagle had promised? Was this the path to salvation, or a descent into oblivion? He cast a desperate glance at the majestic creature, its golden eyes reflecting the unforgiving sun. Did it hold a spark of malice? Or was it simply a creature bound by its own desperate bargain? Suddenly, the eagle dipped a wing, sending them hurtling downwards at a terrifying speed. The wind howled in Etana's ears, a chilling symphony of his impending doom. He closed his eyes, bracing himself for the inevitable impact. Just as abruptly, the plummeting sensation ceased. Etana cracked open one eye, fear warring with disbelief. They were no longer hurtling towards the earth, but hovering precariously on a platform of shimmering gold. It was a celestial island, suspended amidst the swirling clouds, bathed in an ethereal light. In the center, a single plant, its leaves shimmering with an otherworldly glow, pulsed with an impossible life force. The plant of birth, the eagle rasped, its voice devoid of its earlier malice. "Take what you need, King Etana, and fulfill your bargain." Etana, his body trembling with a mixture of terror and elation, dismounted. He reached out a tentative hand towards the plant, its luminescence soothing his ragged nerves. But as his fingers grazed a leaf, a voice, booming and authoritative, echoed through the celestial platform. "Halt, mortal," the voice, laced with power, sent shivers down Etana's spine. He spun around to see a figure materialize from the swirling mist, a radiant being with wings of pure light, a guardian of the celestial gardens. "This plant," the being boomed, its voice echoing with the power of the cosmos, "is not for the likes of you. It is reserved for those deemed worthy by the gods." Etana fell to his knees, his voice thick with desperation. "Great One," he pleaded, "I have endured trials beyond imagination. My lineage is dying, my kingdom crumbling. This plant is my only hope." The celestial guardian studied Etana with an intensity that seemed to pierce his very soul. A tense silence followed, stretching into an eternity for the kneeling king. Finally, the being spoke again, its voice softer now, laced with a hint of understanding. "Your desperation is evident, King Etana, but the fate of your lineage rests not solely on this plant. It hinges on a choice you must make. Take the plant, and you will return to your kingdom. Your wish granted. But know this, your actions will have consequences. The balance of the cosmos is a delicate thing." Etana's mind reeled. Was this a mere test of his resolve, or something more sinister? He looked at the plant of birth, its luminescence seeming to mock him. Was his kingdom worth disrupting the divine order? The story of Etana ends here, etched on the clay tablet in a chilling cliffhanger. Did Etana defy the celestial guardian, snatch the plant, and return to Kish, forever altering the course of his kingdom's destiny? Or did he choose the path of righteousness, leaving the plant untouched and facing the consequences of a barren lineage? The answer, like the fate of his dynasty, remains shrouded in the swirling mists of time.